I mean, the tariff is again, the tariffs are the word. Tariff is the trade. There was a little bit of excitement this morning when Trump was announcing potential deals with South Korea and Japan, and that Italy's Maloney was coming in a couple of weeks to discuss trade. So things were looking on the up. And then the reinforcement that China tariffs were still with us, and we're going to hit it about 104% tonight. That was confirmed or reconfirmed, I should say. And the reality, what we heard from Trump this morning was, China wants to do a deal. They don't know how to contact us. I mean, they went to the WTO this morning complaining about tariffs. So that's hardly a country looking to do a deal with the U.S. And it's really unlikely that President Xi is going to be knocking on the White House door with hat in hand, looking to do a trade with Trump. So this is going to be extended for a while, I think. And that's
extended in what sense? Like, we know the fight's going to be extended, but the carnage that we're seeing, if you're long equities, how long is that going to be extended? What turns that around? I mean, stocks have been in free fall for the last 4 days.
Yeah, it's a really, really good question. Talking to traders today, we're definitely seeing some folks stepping in at the close, getting their toes in the water. The extension that possibly that people are talking about is 4,500 in the S&P cash. We're still about 400 away from that, but there's going to be a lot of give and take, and even if that happens, there's just a lot of talk, and I don't want to really go into this too much because it's just a lot of scuttlebutt on the street about if things continue like this, will the Trump administration look for a scapegoat? Will it be Lutnick? Will it be Navarro? And traders today are putting more bets on Navarro than Lutnick.
So what would that do to markets if Navarro got the boot? And look, again, you're saying this is scuttlebutt.
It's totally rumor, just totally conversation on the street.
But would that actually
no fact to this whatsoever? But if Navarro would get the boot tomorrow, you probably see about a 2,000 point rally in the Dow, to be honest.
Well, it's so funny that you say that, because we were talking with our Max Chafkin about some of the back and forth between Elon Musk and Peter Navarro, and there's been some speculation. Again, rumor, careful, let's be smart here.
Yes,
but that
totally, yes.
But that the president, looking for an off-ramp, and I guess we just assumed it would be in deals with countries, but you do wonder if he is looking for some individual to say, listen, that was his plan, maybe it was wrong. Let's get him, let him go, and let's redo this. But again, who knows, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think what you said, the former part of that is really where it's going to come from. You're going to see deals getting done.
Okay.
And I think the administration is going to be touting more the deals getting done in the next couple of weeks, as opposed to deals not getting done, as in vis-a-vis China. And I think we're going to start to see a little bit more positive comments come out of the White House to turn this a little bit. Don't forget, we've even seen the Republicans pushing back against Trump, where they tried both in the Senate and some in the House, trying to basically impose a bill that basically says Trump has to go through the Senate and the House in order to impose tariffs. It's dead on arrival. It's not.
Yes,
It's not even.
Said he would veto it.
It's not going to pass. Absolutely. So it's DOA. It's not going anywhere. But just the idea that they would even consider that, and that his own party is pushing back, is definitely going to have some conversation going on in the White House. And I think it's very, very interesting that in the last 24, maybe even 48 hours, we haven't heard a peep out of Lutnick. And he's been the real bull in the china shop, if you will, in the same camp as Navarro, talking really tough on trade.
Okay, so maybe that's the case. Who we have heard a lot from is Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. What do you make of that? He's been out each and every day.
Yeah, he's not going to go against Trump, but he is, again, in terms of what the market sees as a voice of reason. So he's more likely to put a positive spin on things than a negative spin on things. Remember, like the rumors yesterday with Hassett, where he said Trump was going to consider a 90-day pause. That headline was complete fiction, came out of a conversation on Fox, which was an elaboration on very something Hassett said that it really had nothing to do with a pause. And you saw the market react like surging on that news. They're desperately looking for good news to buy into this. People do have cash. They do want to get into this, but you just don't want to step in front of the steamroller right now because it's still coming, as we saw today. Although, like, think about, like, in the last 15 minutes, the Dow was down over 800, down 320 into the close. So there's still a lot of possibility for this to turn around, but I would just be really careful. If you want to dip your toes in a little bit, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
But definitely don't be sticking your head through the door.